Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Basics of Microsoft Word here at the Orland Park Public Library. My name is Diane Graw, and I am an IT assistant here at the Orland Park Public Library. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about just some of the basics that you'll find while using Microsoft Word today. I want to go ahead and share my screen with you just so that you can kind of see my screen and what I'm working on, and then you can see some of the slides that I have put together for this presentation today, as well as the desktop, so you can actually see what I am doing as I am speaking with you and presenting the information. So you can see my screen right now. This is our desktop, and I'm going to bring up my slides that I have just so that you again can see what it is that we're talking about today as we go through the basics of Microsoft Word. So I want to again give you just an overview of this class today. And before I do that, I want to just share with you some of our upcoming classes with the Orland Park Public Library. And if you are interested, please go ahead and join us on those evenings that we have our classes. We have a series. It's called Interacting with the Internet series. We have two parts to that series. The first one is on privacy, and that will be on March 16th at 7 p.m. And then part 2 will be on security, internet security, and that will be on March 18th, also at 7 o'clock. Now, just to remind you that all of our classes currently are via Zoom. Please look for us in the future as we do present classes in person as well as by Zoom. Cable No More is also our next series that we'll be presenting. We have two parts to that series as well. Cutting the Cord will be on March 22nd. And then Services and Devices will be on April 5th. Both of those classes are also at 7 p.m. via Zoom. And then we'll have an Intro to WordPress on April 14th at 7 p.m. Via Zoom. If you're ever interested in learning how to put together a website, you can learn sort of how to put that together using WordPress. And so you can go ahead and join us on that date. Again, the links can be found on our website. Off of our home page, you'll see that under the calendar of events. All right, so I'm just going to give you some of our objectives today for our class. By the end of this class today, you'll be able to open, create, and even save a Word document. You'll be able to share the document as an email attachment or even as a PDF. You'll be able to format the document and add photos, hyperlinks, tables, and even charts to your documents. And then you'll be able to even create a cover letter and even a resume for a job interview if that is something that you are in need of. Well, what can Microsoft Word do? It can do a lot of things. But again, today, just for our class, we're just going to go over the basics. So I'm not going to be going over everything here, but just to kind of give you a sense of what Word can do. It can create documents such as letters, papers, resumes, things like that. You can create flyers using Microsoft Word. You can create web pages also using Microsoft Word. You can create mailing labels, and you can merge those labels then with lists to create a very large mailing. Maybe it's something for an organization you're a part of, or even for school. You can send that out. Maybe it's for a party that you're hosting. So again, you can create mailing labels and merge them with lists for that purpose. And then you can even create slideshow presentations using Microsoft Word. For today, though, I'm just going to show you the documents portion of Microsoft Word today. But if you have any questions about what I'm presenting with you today, or you want to learn a little bit more about what Microsoft Word can do, feel free to give us a call here at the library, and we can make an appointment with you, and you can come on in and talk to any one of us here by the adult computers on the second floor here at the library, and we can go ahead and help you with any of those questions that you might have. So I'm going to now present to you my desktop so that you can see a little bit about Microsoft Word. So this is my desktop, and for Microsoft Word, you can access that in a couple of ways. You can take your mouse, and on anywhere on your desktop, you can right click and you can scroll down to New. And with new, you can see that I can add a couple of things, whatever I need to, start working on my desktop. I'm going to find Microsoft Word, and I'm just going to then left click in order to open that up. And now it will create for me a new Microsoft Word document. Now, the reason that it's highlighted in blue, the text, is that I can then label that something. So for right now, I'm just going to name that letter, because that is something that we're going to work on today. Now, if I didn't want to go that route, but I wanted to access that maybe from my menu, I will scroll down into the lower left corner of my screen, and I will left click on that window, and then it will bring up my menu. And from my menu, then I can scroll, and maybe I have Word already listed on my menu. And so I can left click on that to bring that up, and I can now open up a Word document, and I can create a blank document if I wanted to, or I can use one of their templates. I'm going to actually use this a little later. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use Microsoft Word for a resume. So again, I don't want to create a blank document with that, although I could create that, but it might look a little nicer if we choose one of their templates. So I'm just going to choose the first one that comes up, and that will be this one, this Modern Chronological Resume. I'm going to left click on that in order to select it, and then it will ask me to create, and that's what I'm going to create. So I'm going to now put this, I'm going to minimize this onto my desktop, and we'll go through that a little later. What I want to do is I want to go back into that first document that I created, and I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to show you now how to create a letter using Microsoft Word. So I will just double click this now to open this up. And now I have my blank document in front of me. So now there are a couple things that I want to share with you first before we begin creating our letter. Up at the top of our screen, I have this ribbon, and these are my tools that I can use to create my letter. And now it gives me these different tabs. And from the File tab, you'll see that when I click on that, it will tell me that I can save my document, I can print my document, I can even share my document. First thing I want to do is save. Now, if I did not already name my document, I would just go ahead and I would click Save As. And I would then, as I click on that, I want to put it where I want to store my document. And most of the time, I end up putting it on my desktop, and then I end up organizing it in different folders based off of what it is that I'm working on. So then I would put it on my desktop, and then I would put it from there. If I'm working on the document and I want to go into save what it is that I've been working on and maybe go back to use it later, I would then just click save. So that's where I would hit my save. It's from File. Generally, everything that I want to use is from my Home tab. And on my Home tab, I can have my text be bold. I can underline my text and even italicize my text. I can change the color of my text if I want to. I can even change my paragraph, and I can have it be single spaced versus double spaced. And I can choose if I want to start and line up all my margins on my left side. I can center my margins. I could have everything on my right side and even justify everything and put everything the same. So I could choose all that from this tab. The next tab that we have on here is Insert. And Insert, I'm going to show you that in a little while. This is where we can insert different things into our documents, whether it's photos, whether it's charts. We can do that all through this tab here. The Design tab will help us if we want to maybe design something, whether it's a journal entry or something like that. A letter doesn't necessarily come through here, but maybe it is a longer document. Maybe we're writing a book or a manuscript. We can choose how we want to choose our layout for our document. The next one is our layout. This happens to be a good tab to use when you are choosing your margins and how you want everything to be the same. Maybe you want to have 1 inch on each side. You can be able to choose that through your margins. References helps you when you want to look up something. Maybe you want to put a footnote in your document, or you want to put in a caption. You can end up doing that through this tab. The Mailings tab, again, will be where if you were doing a mailing and you had your letter here and you wanted to merge your labels in with your mailing, you would use this tab. But for today, I'm not going to show you that, but that's the tab that you would use if you were going to do a mailing. The review is a tab that we would use if we have our document and before we want to send this off, whether it's to print it or to send this off as an email attachment or even as a PDF attachment, I would use this tab to check my spelling, to check my grammar. Maybe I have a word in there and I've used it too many times. Maybe I want to just change that word, and maybe I want to look it up in the thesaurus, so I can do that. Maybe I have to have something for the newspaper and they want it under so many words. So I can count the number of words that I have for my document, and I could choose it here within this tab. So I can do a few things with this tab. Maybe I need to translate part of my document for a different language. I can also do that here as well. And then view allows me to, again, preview my document, whether it's for printing or maybe I want to put some of this onto a website, and I'm going to look at the different views for that. That's what I would use this tab for. A couple of the other things that you're going to see on here, maybe you started typing and you made a mistake. In the upper left corner, you'll see an arrow that goes then to the left. That would be the undo button. And so if I had already typed something, I would do that. And I'm going to show you that in a little while. So that would be something that you could see just as a quick shortcut. The little disc is also the save, sort of shortcut. And so you could click on that anytime rather than just going to file and then hit save every time. In the upper right corner of your screen, you'll see that you can minimize your document. You can change the zoom capability, for your document. You can even close out your document. In the lower right portion of your screen, this is where you zoom in. You can change the size of your document based off of how you are typing or you want to view it. And then in the lower left, you'll actually see how many pages you're typing on, and then the number of word count too as well for that. So let me begin with showing you how I would go ahead and start typing a document. First thing I might do is I might want to insert a header for my document. Maybe I'm working on something for school or for work, and I need to put a header on here. It's a good thing to put on here. That way you could label, what it is that you're working on. Maybe you are doing a special project, or maybe you're working on a special research paper. And so you could organize your documents using this header. If I click on the header, and it brings me up then a different menu of choices, and I could choose any type of header that I want. And a blank header just allows us, there's no fancy design around it, and it allows me then to go ahead and type the name of the document. So for this, I'm just going to put in here letter example, because that is what I'm showing you today, an example of how to type up a letter. If I double click, that gets me out of that header, and now I'm able to continue on typing into my document. So if I'm going to write a letter, the first thing I want to do is put the date. If I start typing in today's date, it will automatically tell me what today's date is. If I want to do a shortcut, and instead of continuing to type it, I just hit enter, and now it will put and fill in the rest of today's date. If I click on my enter, now I can go ahead and put the person who I am sending this letter to. And I'll just do, Joe Smith, and I will go ahead and put his address in here, 123 Alphabet Lane in Alphabet, Illinois, 60000. Okay, now you'll see that I actually have some space in between my lines. Well, maybe I don't want to have any space in between there. Maybe I just want to have them as a single space instead of the multiple space that I have right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cursor and use my mouse, and I'm going to highlight using my left click I'm going to highlight that text. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here into my toolbar and I'm going to search under paragraph. And there's a little arrow in the lower right corner of that next to paragraph. And I'm going to click on that. And this is going to be the different settings that I could use for paragraph. And if I click on that, it brings up a menu. And I currently have that as a spacing. Now it's giving me an 8-point spacing, which is a multiple number. It's kind of like a default that they use. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that it's at 0. And I'm going to change this now. Instead of being multiple, I'm going to choose it to be single. And then I'm going to hit OK. And you'll watch that now it's changed my multiple spacing now into a single spacing. So it did that. Now I'll unhighlight that and I can go ahead and I can continue typing up my letter. Now maybe I do want the rest of my letter though to be double spaced. So I'll go back up into my paragraph and into my settings and I will choose again under line spacing, I'll choose double. And as soon as I do that and click on OK, now the rest of my document will be double space. Now let's say I made a mistake on something. So if I started typing up my letter, like I will tab in and say, I'm sorry, I will type in dear Susie Smith. Oh, wait a minute. You know, it's not Susie. It is actually, you know, Joe. Well, I want to now go up here into my upper left corner and it says undo typing. And I'm going to click on that arrow that's going backwards. And I'm going to click on that and you'll notice that everything that I had just typed now will be erased. So now I can go ahead and type in his name. It is Joe Smith. And I can continue. Now I'll tab over and continue on with my letter. Thank you for meeting with me yesterday. I enjoyed working on that new project. And then I can end it and say, have a great weekend. And now I want to put my name. Now I might do a couple of spaces before I actually put my name, just because I might want to sign this then before sending this off. And then I'll just put my name here. And in that space, I'll end up after printing it, I'll just sign it before sending this off then to Joe Smith. So that's how you would actually start typing a letter. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to show you a couple of things that you can add to your document. The first thing that you could add to your document is you could add some text that might be bold or might have a different color. So all you have to do is if you type something, now you might want to change your name and you want to make it bold. If you highlight that, this little menu comes up here. Rather than going all the way up to the top, you can use this little shortcut here and you can click on B for bold and you'll see that that comes up. You can italicize that. You can even underline it. So whatever you choose, you can see that. Now the other thing that you could do is you can change the color of your font. And so you can make that any color you want to by just choosing that little down arrow. It brings you up a menu of colors. You could see the different colors and you can click on it and then it will change it. Maybe you want it to be green or red or whatever. So you want to click on that and have fun with that. The other thing that you could do with this as well is maybe you didn't like the type of font that you wanted to use. So you could also just change the type of font. And if you click on that down arrow, now it's going to give you a whole bunch of different choices to choose from. Maybe you want something that, especially for your signature, maybe that looks kind of like a signature. And maybe it's sort of like a script. So then you'll see that I just changed that. Maybe I want to change the size too. So a standard size for a letter is about 12. But you could make your signature, especially if you choose a different kind of font and maybe it doesn't look large enough, you could choose, you know, something larger or something even smaller as well. So you could do that. And then it will also change the size of your font as well. The other thing that you could insert in here, besides just changing the the color of your font or the style, is now you might want to add some photos to your document. So let's say we want to do that. We can go up into our tab for insert and click on that. And then we have a couple of choices to choose from. Now, if you already have some photos stored onto your computer, you might choose the pictures one. And when you click on that, then you have a couple of folders and you could choose some. I don't have any stored on this computer. So if I did though, I would click on the one that I want, and then I would click on insert. For this demonstration, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the online pictures. So if I click on that and this menu comes up, now I want to search online for something that I want to insert. So it's about springtime. It's a nice day out today. Let me just, think about something for the spring. So let me just type that in and let's search. Now you can hit enter in order to search, and now you're going to get a whole bunch of photos that are going to come up. You can even get some clip art this way as well. So a lot of these are free. If it is locked for some reason that you'd have to pay for it, you wouldn't be able to choose it. But if you want to choose something that you want to add, maybe we like this one. He's really cute, just standing there on that little branch. I'm going to select it by left clicking on that picture, and then I'm just going to click on insert. And now this is located now in my document. Now I could do a couple of things with this. Maybe I just feel like this photo is just way too big and I want to go ahead and I want to size this. All I have to do is click on any one of the dots that are in the corners. This will help make my image smaller or larger. So if I do that, left click, hold that down at the same time, and then just drag my mouse, now it's making my image much smaller. If I click on the ones in the center, this actually makes then my image go wider. I don't necessarily want to do that, but you can see how it might make my image. Maybe I just want to like play with it. And now I'm, making this wider. So I could just kind of bring that back. If I kind of make a mistake, again, I can go back into that redo and just kind of go back into the resize that I had before I was playing with it. Now maybe the photo is upside down and I need to reverse it and bring it back. I can choose that one in the center and you can see that I'm able to change the direction for that. If I was going to maybe make a collage of different images, this would be a good tool to use because again, I could change the direction, kind of make it funky, add a couple of other images on here and kind of change direction and do that. Again, I can bring that back to where it was before. Now, maybe I didn't want it just on the left side of my document. Maybe I want this more in the center. If I go into the Home tab, I'm going to see that I can move this because it's still highlighted. It still has those dots on it. So it means it's chosen. I can move this now into the center. Instead of just making this just for text, it's also for images as well. Even for charts and things that I've added into my document. So now maybe I want this in the center. If I go into that insert area again, I could choose to have a text box. Maybe I want to caption this for some reason. So I could choose now this text box. And when I click on that, it gives me different choices for text boxes. For this demonstration, I'm just going to choose a simple text box. And you're going to see that I can end up moving this around. I can grab my, reader's attention if I want to, and I could just start typing anything in here by highlighting that. And then I could start typing it, like bird on a branch, something like that. And now I could choose it and I could move this around. I could put it anywhere I wanted to next to my photo if I wanted to, just again to caption something like that. If I don't want it, if I choose, I don't really like that, I can get rid of it then either by going back or I could just click on it and then I can hit my delete and then that gets rid of it as well. So I can do that for a couple things. Delete is always good to get rid of something. Now what I want to show you is besides adding photos to a document, maybe you're working on a project with someone from work and you need to add a chart. So I'm going to choose to go into the Insert tab and I want to insert a table. And from this table now, if I click on it, I'm able to choose the type of table that I want to insert. So I could choose the number of fields that I need. Maybe I want to make a list of something, and maybe this is what I want. So I'm going to make a 4x3 table, and I could start typing in anything. Maybe I want to make a grocery list for something. So I'll just start typing, fruit, and I'll tab over vegetables and, bread and maybe milk. Now, maybe I don't want it to be all centered. If I highlight everything, I can go back up into the Home tab, and I can show you, if I choose how to align all of my text, I could align it to the left, I can align it to the right, or I can even center it. And you'll see that everything then that I type will be aligned in the exact same way. So that is inserting then, a chart into the screen. If I have to add more, all I have to do is just hit enter, and then I get more. If I didn't like something and maybe I had too many, I will go back and I will reverse that. Now, if I want to add something else to my document, maybe I want to add a page number. Maybe I'm going to have multiple things, multiple pages for my work. So if I want to do that, I will go up then into Insert. And if I scroll over, we have header, footer, and page number. So if I click on page number, I can actually choose where I want to put that page number. Maybe I want it at the top of my page. Maybe I want it at the bottom. I generally like it at the bottom, but it's all preference, however you want it. So you could choose to have it at the bottom of the page, and then maybe you want it in the center as opposed to something on the far right. So then all you have to do is just scroll over, and then it will tell you where you want your page number. Sorry, I just got out of that by mistake. So I want it then at the bottom of my page, and I want to center it. Once I click on that, then you'll see that it ends up being at the bottom of my page and in the center. Now you can actually see this as a preview for what you've done. You can go back up into your tab for File, click on that, and go down into Preview if you like, and then you'll be able to see your preview document before you end up putting this out for print. The other thing that you could do is, from here, you could save your document if you're working on something, or you could just use a shortcut, like I said before, with that little disk. So if I'm going to click on that to save, I will do that, and then not right now, it's saved my work where I'm at. If I go into File, I might want to then share this. Maybe I've done everything I could, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share this. If you click on Share, it will tell me the different things that I could do. I could email this to someone. I could put this on a blog. Maybe I'm working on my own, or I could, maybe I have an account and I want to save this to my cloud. I can do that as well, not just having this on my own computer. Maybe I've, saved it to where I'm able to work on it here at home, but I want to maybe work on it later at work, and I have my own cloud account. I can do that, and that way I can then work on it on my computer then at work. So I could save it there. If I choose email, and I have that already set up on my computer, I could send it as an attachment. I could send it as a PDF even, or maybe I want to fax this to someone, and I can do that if you have those set up. The easiest one is to send this as an attachment, and you can click on that. It brings that up if you already have it. I don't, but if you had it, then you'd have the document come up as an email. That would already come up, and you could start typing your email to who you want to send it to, the subject, and then it will already be clipped on as an attachment, and then you'd be able to send that. You can also save this, like I said, as a PDF. So if you go in there and you want to share it then as a PDF, you can click on that, and then that would also be able to do that if you had that already set up as well. The last thing that I want to share with you on here before moving on is I want to share with you then how we would go about reviewing this, reviewing our work, making sure that we have everything typed the way we want it typed up. So we're going to then click under review, and we're going to go into spelling and grammar. If I click on that, that brings me up to choices. Now it'll tell me if I've spelled something wrong. Now it's highlighted my last name, and I know that I've spelled that correctly. I can go ahead and ignore that. If I did spell something incorrectly, I would go ahead, choose the correct way of spelling it, and then choose change. So right now I'm just going to ignore it. Once it's already completed and you are already having your document 100% with spelling and grammar, it's checked, you just click on OK in order to end that. So those are just a few of the tips that you can use when you are creating your own document through Word. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this, and then I'm going to just minimize it for our work today. I'm going to bring up now that resume document that I had brought up earlier. So what I want to share with you is when you use a template, you're going to end up just basically plugging in your information, and you're going to just change it, but you're going to keep the format the same. So for where it says first name, last name at the top, all you have to do is just click on it, it highlights it, and then you just start typing. So my name is Diane. Click on that, and I'll just put in my last name. The next one tells me to put in an address. So you can put in your address, 123 Alphabet Lane. Now, if you want to put your phone number, you can. So that's a good idea for them to contact you. And now if you want to put your email address in here, you can go ahead and do that on the next line. If you have a LinkedIn profile, you can go ahead, just click on that. Or even if you use Twitter, or if you have your own blog or your own portfolio, maybe you've posted something onto Google Sites, for instance, and you have your own site address, you can use that and add that to that as well. If you don't like something, maybe you don't have a LinkedIn profile, or you don't use Twitter or a blog or have a portfolio, anything you don't use, when you click on it to highlight it, all you have to do is just delete it, and then it's gone. And you don't have to keep that on there. Maybe you don't even have a LinkedIn profile. Okay, let's get rid of that too, and we'll just delete it. And now you're all set. Now for the next text. Now, if you want to, you can put in your own objective, or maybe you want to put in a statement about yourself. That would be what the next area is here. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. And again, highlight it, delete it to get rid of it. The next thing that you have on there then would be experience. And once again, all you're doing is just plugging in the information. You click on it to highlight it, and you're just putting in the information. So maybe you just want to put in the date of when you were hired, and for your first company that you're presenting on here. So maybe you just got that new position, and you're highlighting it and you're putting in present. And then you can add the title for that job and the company that you worked for. Then you can even share some of the responsibilities and tasks that you have within your company. So again, you can put that there. Same thing with education, you'll add that. Same thing with your skills. You'll see that it's listed as bullet points, and it will keep that as bullet points. And then even your activities. Your activities might be something that you volunteered for, within the community, or maybe it's activities that you've had, in the past. Maybe you have done something, at school or wherever it is. So you can add some of that, to that space. It doesn't have to necessarily be bullet points. It would just be, statements. If at any time you want to make changes to anything, maybe you want to, change the font. Maybe you don't like that your name looks like this. So you can, again, left click, highlight it. Maybe you don't like it that it's two-tone like that. So again, showing what you've learned before when I showed you how to write a letter, you can go then up into the menu here under home, and we can click on that. We can make them both bold, or maybe we can italicize it. Maybe we don't like it that it's that type of font, so maybe we're just going to change it, and we're just going to make it Arial. Maybe you like that better, or maybe you want to have it stand out, and so you want to change the text color, which you can go ahead, you can do that, and maybe it'll just make your name stand out a little bit more. Whatever it is that you choose, or maybe you just want it to, again, be kind of the same. So you see here that I have that a little larger. I'm going to maybe change the size. Maybe I don't want it to be that large. Maybe I only want it to be 28. Maybe I don't want it to be bold, that sort of thing. Maybe I want to do that again also for this, my last name here as well. And since I made the other one 28, I'll do that as well. So now they look both the same. Maybe under experience, maybe again, I don't like that font style and I want to go ahead and I want to change it. So you can go ahead and customize this, make it the way you want it to look. And so you can go ahead and do that as well. And it allows you to do that. Just because you pick that template doesn't mean that you have to have everything the same exact way. But it's a good idea to use a template because your margins are already set there. The style is there. And all you have to do is basically just plug in the information that you want to change and to customize it the way that you want for your information. Also from here, what you can do is you can also save this. You can go up into File. You can hit Save As, and you're going to, again, put it to where you want it. Like I said, I like to have everything on my desktop, and then I arrange it later and organize it into the different folders. So maybe I want to change this and have this be, resume. And I'll just name it, and then I'll hit Save, and then it changes it. And you could see the name in the upper sort of center of your desktop, and you'll see that it says now it changed to resume, and it's a Word document. So maybe I also want to print this, and now you can see what it looks like as a preview, and you can go ahead then and you could save this and print this, however many copies you want to make, and go ahead and send that to your printer. Maybe again you want to share this. Maybe you have started working on this at work and you want to then send this to home. Again, you can click on share then, and you can go ahead and share this then as, saving it to the cloud. You can do that. Or maybe you want to already send this as part of an online sort of application that you want to send to someone. So you're already ready to send this, and you can go ahead and save it, send this as an email attachment. So those are just some of the things that you have learned from here. I'm going to go ahead and save this again. I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to share my screen again. I want to bring up those slides again. And I'm going to now go back to where we were. And I want to review again some of the things that you learned today. So by opening up Microsoft Word, you were able now to create your own document. You can also learn how to use it as a template as well. From the main screen, you're able to save, undo, and even repeat functions for your document. And that's found in the upper left portion of your screen. You can minimize, resize, or close the document found in the upper right portion of your screen. You can even zoom in and out of a document, as well as change the type of display using the slider at the bottom right of your screen. You can also count the number of pages that you have used, as well as the number of words that you've typed by looking at the bottom left of your screen. You can size the margins and indent as you wish from the Layout tab on the ribbon and your heading. You can add columns, you can change the spacing from here too. From your Home tab, that allows you to change the font type, the size, the color, the alignment, or even the background for your document. You can bold, underline, or italicize text. You can find, replace, and even select functions from here too. From the Insert tab, you can insert a blank page or cover letter if you wanted to your document. You can insert a table, a chart, an image, a header, a footer, or even page numbers, text boxes, and even word art into your document. And then the Review tab allows you to check your spelling and your grammar. You can use a thesaurus. You can add comments for sharing your document, and add and check your word count as well. So for further resources, you can look here at some of these sites. You can go to Microsoft.com and learn a little bit more about Microsoft Word. You can go to gcflearnfree.org. That has different videos on there. They're all free. It's just based off of the different preferences and the different subjects that you're looking for. But if you go to that site, Again, you can find other videos for things like Microsoft Word. You can go on YouTube and seek out other videos. Even look for the Orland Park Public Library. We have our own subscription on our YouTube. And if you go there, you'll actually be able to see this as a review and reference for you for the future. We'll have that up within a day or two on our YouTube page. So go ahead and seek us out for there, and you can see this video as well as others that we have posted on there. We also have the Orland Park Public Library. So we are another resource for you. Again, you can give us a call at 708-428-5171. And you can speak to anyone here in our computer department, and you can just come on in during our regular business hours as well and ask us any questions that you might have, and we'll be happy to help you. Again, we're located on the second floor by the adult computers. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take those now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to see if anyone has any questions for me. If you do, you can just put them in the chat. And if you don't have any questions for me, I just want to thank you for joining me today as I have helped you learn a little bit more about Microsoft Word. I hope that you were able to learn a little something new today. And if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call here at the library. Enjoy your day. Thank you.